Well, good afternoon and welcome to the principal's office. I am Principal Edward Gordon, and I'm so glad you have tuned in for this weekly broadcast where we'll be interviewing educational stakeholders who have made a significant impact for themselves, for others, and with others in education. In the book, The 15 Valuable Laws of Growth, written by Dr. John C. Maxwell, he talks about the law of modeling. The law of modeling states it's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. Today, I am grateful to have another special guest who is making a significant impact in education, Mr. Craig Redmond Sr. Good afternoon, Craig.
Hey, how you doing there, Mr. Gordon? Thank you for having me. Just doing a little bit of spinning the sticks here, but thank you for having me. It's just a blessing to be here with you and the people in the audience.
Very good. I'm excited for this time together in this interview. So let's get started off with a brief introduction of our guest today. Craig Redmond Sr. is a longtime student of the arts and has studied acting and drumming for the past 40 years, along with singing, songwriting, and painting. His band, Sea Dreams, has played in many places across this tri-state area, such as the Summer Festival, street fairs, and private parties. Sea Dreams has an old school feel for all ages to enjoy. The style of music is eclectic, ranging from gospel, jazz, R&B, and rock and roll. Completing his self-produced sophomore album entitled Combination, which precedes his first self-released debut CD entitled Mama's Love. The second CD has a diverse feel to it, with reggae, gospel, and Latin music in an instrumental genre. Craig Redmond established Sea Dreams Band Entertainment in 2002, providing live band music, DJ services, motivational speaking, and drum instruction. Craig has served the Patterson Public School District in Patterson, New Jersey as the Eastside High School band director, in which he considered the opportunity a blessing because of his passion and God-given talents as a musician. He also serves the district as a paraprofessional, helping students exceed expectations. Help me welcome again to the show this evening, Mr. Craig Redmond Sr. Welcome
Wow.
again, Mr. Redmond.
Wow. Give God the glory. Wow. That was. Listen, they got to add to that two things that are positive impact in my life that where I can be effective in someone else's. I'm on my third album, which is called Get to Know Me. We just released that this past February. And I want to let the audience know my first marching band job was at Kennedy High School under the direction of Principal Edward Gordon. So let's take it back. All this putting to happen. I want to thank you. And I'm quite sure the kids that I touched life want to thank you, but I want to thank you personally. If I never did, that you gave me the opportunity back then in 2001, 2000 or something like that, around there, 2000. And you gave me a chance to do something that I had already been doing. I had already been doing at school, School 28. I took kids, right before that, I took some kids to the Apollo Theater that they are out of college now, but I took them to the Apollo Theater and we didn't even really have marching band drums. We played on 32-gallon garbage cans and we turned them over. And but they still worked hard and some of those kids transferred and came on over to the high school, came up to the high school with us. So I want to thank you for that, giving me the opportunity for way before I got a chance to deal with the East Side students.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity for our paths to cross and for us to work together and partner and do things together in the best interest of those students at John F. Kennedy High School in Patterson, New Jersey. And I'm excited about this interview and learning more about your story. So just tell the audience, what is your story?
Well, again, my name is Craig Redmond, senior, really, because I have a junior. I am a proud son of the late Billy Don Redmond and Henry Redmond. I am the proud grandson of Irene Smith and Roy Smith. I am the proud grandson of Ali Mae Redmond and Henry L. Redmond. This is my grandfather, Papa Lee, they called him. Um, and I am the youngest out of the boys. Come from a large family. It's really eight of us. Come from a large family and aunts, many aunts and uncles, um, loved ones, extended family. Um, I'm currently 54 years old. I was blessed enough to do the things that I'm doing. I'm proud to say that because a lot of people didn't make it to see 54. Will be 55 in November 18th. I am a Scorpio. Be careful. So be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. Be careful. But anyway, I'm excited. I want to give a big shout out to before I even go further any further. You know, from the past church that I honor to God, number one, who's ahead of my life. And the late Elder Vincent Kitchens, I can never forget him from the Refuge Temple Church of God in Christ. Yes, I came up in the Kojic Holiness Church, but now I'm serving at Faith Chapel Reformed Church. Big shout out to Faith Chapel, Pastor Darrell Redmond, and a big shout out to my brother Henry Redmond, this church, and everybody that I grew up with. I grew up with the late Dr. Gilmore, Arlene Gilmore, the late Elder Farrar. It just list goes on and on. List goes on and on. I was really brought up on some good stuff when it came down to the words, so I don't have any excuse about anything, falling off. I had my struggles. I was a young dad. I'm a proud dad. We have our problems, but all my kids are grown now. I was a young dad. I was 16, 15 going on 16, something like that. It's a junior high school. But because of the love of my parents, the love of God that put into my parents was very supportive. Me and his mother were young parents, but with God being in between, we made it. We, have a healthy son. Actually two, and I have what a lot of people didn't know. I have two daughters. 125, 121 now, and so the ages start from 36, 30, 25, 21, and I things that I had to learn in the process of life, made me who I am. It wasn't easy. No one really taught me about the birds and the bees like some people make this fairy tale book, but I can really say, to my moms, and dad, it was really supportive. At me at a young age, we still had to be parents, me and, me and their mother still had to be parents regardless. Her mother wasn't playing, mine wasn't playing, but just brought it together and, we did the best we can with what we had and being young. Um, I wouldn't suggest that anybody, if it happened, you got to work with it. It made me, the person I am now, and thank God for His mercy and grace. Because one key thing about life and being in those situations, if I can help a young man or a young lady, especially the men, um, when you have children that are wedlocked, you can't run. You can only run one house. You can't run two households. That's something that you have to learn. And I see that a lot of times domestic violence get involved and you don't realize. I'm glad that I had God on my side and I knew Him, because when I was searching in life, trying to find my way through all those things, I could have made a very, very bad decisions, not understanding that you cannot run two households, but you can still be a great parent as your kids are younger to them, when they're younger, and be in their life, and I'm glad that now, different generation coming up now, because kids want you to still baby them up when they still in their 20s and 30s and stuff. Um, I'm not that dad. You grown, you grown. I support you spiritually, morally, when I can, financially, but I'm not trying to baby up a grown person. I'm being honest. I see my mother raise grandkids. I see people still doing it, raising grandkids. That's wonderful. If that's what you want to do, I'm just saying. Greg Redmond right here. I'm not trying to put my life through that. It's tough enough trying to survive the middle age that I am with the things that are on. And in the process of life, going through my 20s, I started working for the Pastor Board of Education actually in my 30s, late 30s. Yes, late 30s. Because I'm actually going on, believe it or not, 22 years, 22 to 23 years in the Pastor Board of Education, which was one of the best things that I could have ever done. Um, and it's not that I wanted to do that. I didn't grow up saying that. I'm telling you, you have to get my book that's coming out called Everything Bad Don't Happen in the Hood because it will explain it. I'm just gonna say it real briefly. My late pastor used to throw a revival at the end of June. This was back 70s, early 80s. He would throw it would be hot and that very simple, but he would always throw a revival at the end of June. We didn't understand it then, but now I understand it. We didn't yeah, I understand it now. He will catch people before they go on vacation. When school is out, the first week school was out, we ran a week revival. And we had a powerful woman of God come in, Prophet Myers. And I had to be every bit I was going to school for then. Because the story you were reading the book from me being, I lived on the east side, but I graduated from school for. So you think about it.
Mhm.
What I always tell people, I'm a product of passing special ed. People don't want to believe me. I had a behavior problem. I would fight you in the drop of a hat, and it wouldn't allow me to learn. It was one of my mother's Jewish friends back then in the 70s. So I'm talking about 75, 76 that told her about put me in a smaller class. When I went to special ed back in the 70s, 75, 76, I remember 77, um, we I'm just going to say the board of education was just putting it together, I'm assuming, because we had to walk to our nearest school to catch the bus. It, we were so discombobulated and they was trying to get everything together. We didn't stay in school all day. They used to let us out at 1:45. See, people don't remember that. And it was a school called Bunker Hill, where all it's school 22, Bunker Hill. They knew when you went through them schools, you these had to be good because you had to do this almost every day. I'm not saying I'm the best person in the world because God still had his hands on me, you know. And I didn't ever tell nobody I grew out of it. So I'm glad people don't really bother me. I'm glad people don't really bother me. Listen, you got me on here to be real. I don't bother nobody, but I'm glad people don't bother me or think that they can just walk up on me and say and do things because and I always tell them don't. There's no script that said Craig outgrew. I'm just God help me manage it. Okay. But back then we got out of the quarter two. The great thing from then to now is the teacher who changed my life, and I hope she gets a chance to see this. She hates for me to say this, and she just retired a couple years ago. She's still here. Her name is Lynette Moore, Miss Moore. She changed my life. I had Miss McKnight did a great job. I was over at school 20, but they had to get me out of there. What got me out of there is again during the fire drill, a kid closed the door on my leg, and I got stitches in the back of my left ankle right now from back then. And he thought it was funny, so I was I always meant what I said and said what I meant. And I told him when I come back, I'm gonna get you. So that was regular school, and they didn't know how to handle kids like me who didn't want to sit down. I wasn't trying to do, and I had strict parents, so I don't know what was the matter. I had to be something. It had to be something definitely wrong with me because my mother and father was old fashioned. You got your butt whooped, but I just wouldn't sit down in class, this and that. So one day when I came back from that, the kid thought I was playing, and I jumped on him and beat that kid up with a chair, everything that morning. And they never seen nothing like that. They never seen nobody act like that. And all I knew was next thing you know, I was on the yellow bus going to special ed back then. And it changed my life. And once I got over there to school for, I met a teacher. She was pregnant with her daughter, Miss Moore, back then. And her daughter's a grown woman now. And I was her first student. And she changed my life. Her, Mr. Tyson, I heard that Miss Carter just passed away. It was one of the best things that could have happened to me. She slowed me down, put me in a smaller class, um, and it changed my life to some of the things. And people didn't know because I was a great athlete. I played ball for school for because they mainstreamed me after a while. I went to school for in the fourth grade. From the fourth grade on, I was a special ed, and I'm not ashamed because it helped me back then, even to now. Um, I'm not going to say that I took in a lot of things that prepared me for now, but life experience and, and I will never forget Larry Kent. Like I said, Mr. Tyson, Sonny, which who was and Craig. It was a guy named Craig there. I worked. I'm gonna say this. I did what some kids would never have done. Because I played ball, I want to play. They had a football team, and school four had a football team. I played football with the regular kids, and I played for the basketball team. It was the first year they had the Maurice Lucas League, net league. I played along with the kids back. You're talking about 1980, right? 80, 81, around there. Now the trick that thing is, remember we had to have practice. I got out at a quarter to two. School didn't get out till what, three, 2:30, quarter to three. So what Miss Goodyear was my guidance counselor. I'll never forget her. They were smart enough to get me a job working in the cafeteria. Work was never no problem because our father brought us up on working. We had to clean offices in the house and things sent from a kid. So that was nothing to me. I get paid for doing this. So they found me a job at school for I worked with the maintenance guys, housing guys, cleaning the calf in the school until practice. Then I went to practice, and then my sister picked me up afterwards. People don't realize that all those things I had to deal with and do, and it taught me how to be a productive citizen in society, and not knowing that one day I was going to get a job, take on a job in the educational field. Backing the story up, the revival, I had to be about 7 to 8 years old. Went in the prayer line. All the youth went. Prophet Meyer, she spoke. And when she got to me, she said, I don't know who child this is, but he's going to be a giant amongst kids when he get older. Kids are going to love him all over. And I wish my brothers could tell because he shared a story with the congregation and people forever. And and she said he's going to be a giant amongst kids when he get older. He's going to be doing things he didn't never thought he'd be doing. And God is going to be with him all the way through. Kids are going to love him. He's going to touch kids' life. Now, I'm 54 years old. I had to be about 7 to 8 years old. I remember one time my brother, Pastor Dow, was twice. He was at one of my workshops I did at school 28 years ago. Yeah, I was working with you then. I had did it one during the day. And I saw my brother leave from the stage and go in the back and just watch the kids reacting to the workshop I was giving. And I said, why did you do that? I asked him. He said, because I remember what God promised. He said, I remember I was in that line too when the bishop said that. And he said, when I saw all those kids run up on stage, all I could do is go in the back and reflect that, wow, she said that, and it was a video. I had the video. Kids was all around me. It was the workshop. I'm not thinking about nothing. And you know how many days I've been in that band room with you? I remember when you left me, Martin Luther King Day, to conduct the band.
Mm-hmm.
That was a part of God's plan. I remember you had something to do, and you said, "Well, today you were in charge." Whoa, it's 75 kids. It's 2 bus loads of kids. Thank you, but I thank you for that, and just following God's plan, not knowing all these years and everything. You can have a piece of paper, you can have all the doctrines and degrees and stuff in life. I mean, this is from my personal experience. Um, I've worked in buildings and I just got to call it like it is. I've been in the East Side for 5 years. I've not seen 3 music teachers come in not knowing the kids where you're working at. And, not knowing that you got to take what's on that paper, put it in their hands, show them what to do from that paper, and then get to that paper. I just got to call it like it is, and I was just doing my job, bringing kids to the class, everything. And um, I just use my gift and my know-how, experience, and realizing where I'm at. They don't realize I'm born and raised here. You know, everybody talks about the past. I was a part of the past that became the present. I got a chance to work with two of the greatest. I got a chance to work with Mr. Nelson when I was in high school.
Mhm.
And I got a chance to work with Mr. Before you came in. Um,
Sam.
um, no, before my brother had him. My brother had him. He passed away. Mr. Palmieri.
Oh,
Mr. Palmieri. Mr. Palmieri was in the 70s, 80s. My brother Henry, Pastor Redmond, my brother Henry Redmond was the first person to bring me in the band room. I had to be in grammar school then. I had to come with him on a Saturday, cold as ever. He brought his little brother with him to the same band room
Mhm.
that you hired me to come in. And I got flashbacks when you hired me, and I walked in there and I said, wow, I remember my brother bringing me here, the same band room. He brought me in there, and they was getting ready to do a game. I hung with them, and I was so enthused, not knowing God was preparing me to do these same things. So I got life experience with doing these things, working beside the best. Um, I mean, I took classes, and I have heard music teachers tell me, "This is strange. You're taking classes with me, and you're better than me. Come on, let me take this class. I don't want to hear that." But I realized God, that's the way he planned it. You know what I mean? People think they can take your gift that you have, and when you use it for the good to work with kids. When I work with them, like I said, I break it down. You saw how I work. You work a little bit faster than me. I would take what you have, slow it down for them, and build it up. You don't know this, but when you moved on and I was still there, it was kids I brought in that were in grammar school, such as my son Christian. He was in the sixth grade when you were still there, because you was about to fire him one day because he was slowing up the snare line, and I saw it in his face. He was slowing it, and you whispered in my ear, "Craig, he's slowing up the drum line." You got to, so I walked over there. The fire was in his eyes that he was gonna get it, and I was like, he got it. I asked him, "Are you gonna get it?" He looked at me and said, "Yes." He got it. From people know people think the music teacher that came in after you thought it was him. It wasn't him. You had already done got to them. We had already done drilled them kids. So about the time they got was still there and into high school, that group wind up winning the competition. I meant to tell you that too. You didn't know that, but I was bringing them kids to Kennedy in the sixth and seventh grade, and then by the time they got to high school, they came over. You left.
Mhm.
I went through two more music teachers. Miss G, 1 year, one lady came in. She did 1 year. They ran her out of there, but she did a good job. Then the great Juan Leonardo came in. It was excellent, with it. We just took it up to the next notch, But it was those same kids. You don't realize we had them, you had them, and it was Christian when they was in the sixth and seventh grade back then. By the time they got to high school, Mr. Gordon, they was furious. They wasn't scared of anything, and it was such a pleasure to have worked with them. Now we did something that year, that ended that year that first time. The end of that year, we got together with Reggie English. Mr. Davis was good with it at the time. We put both drum lines together 1 year, and we went and did something for the NAACP. I practiced with them. I got them all together. They were excellent. That's what let me know they were the same kids. It
Mhm.
was Ivory and those guys. It was a great bunch that Mrs. Davis had over there. So me making the transition, never thought that I would be transferred over to East Side. I left grammar school, went over there. When I got to East Side, Mr. Moody was there first. And he did ask me, him and the athletic director, because I was just there doing my job. But the fire was always in me to work with kids and stuff. And we never got a chance to let it unfold because he left before we unfolded. I was doing it anyway. The programs were, I don't want to even get into how, has disserviced the kids in music for years. And you expect kids to get in high school and just pick up an instrument when they wasn't fed when they were younger in grammar school was hard, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but I did it. I took some kids maybe about 3 years ago. We did Memorial Day parade. I took what I had, and I'll tell you what. Again, I got to give you your props because that fire was built up even more by yourself, from yourself. I sat back and was like, I, I'm not gonna lie. I said, oh no, that some of this stuff, because that's just your spirit. Some of the stuff and the kids you had, some of the kids were really out there. Some was very undisciplined. I'm big on discipline. You know what I mean? And I told them that one day when you was getting ready to leave, I said, I can't wait for some of y'all to graduate, but some of them I can't. I walked in on somebody else's situation, so you can't change somebody else's situation when they let them be. And it's not wasn't you. It's
Mhm.
just that so many kids, and they saw it after they left. They saw it. They literally came. They came to the stands at School 15 and said to me during halftime, "Now I see what you're talking about, Mr. Redmond. Oh yeah, this was a different group of kids. Now, right now, again, it's great kids in passing, but and again, whether they hire me or not, I'm still going to do what I have to do when it comes down to using my gift for the kids. This summer, I'm having a summer drum program at Faith Chapel Reformed Church. We have a camp, and I'm looking forward to it. Last year during the pandemic, I did recreation, and it was great. The first time ever, and it wasn't even about the money. Thank God for change that I did get. I even got fussed at. It was like, oh, you're not getting what you're worth. They don't understand. It wasn't about that. It was about going out there using the gift, touching the kid's life, and they were happy. Kids that never got a chance to be a part of it, and we did a little drumline thing. The kids couldn't really deal with the harnesses and marching, so we did a concert style. But we have very intense. I found two good camps: Eastside Park and School 13, where we put them together. So I look forward to continue doing that this summer at Faith Chapel. I think we start just call Faith Chapel. We start maybe July the 5th or something like that. We start, but I'm going to be doing a drum program there. But everything, to cut a long story short, you got to get the book. Everything bad don't happen in the hood. My life story is in there. Um, you know, people think I'm not saying I'm the best drummer in the world, but I'm good at who God made me to be. Simple, point blank. You can have all the degrees all you want. You better know what you're doing when you run up on me with these. That piece of paper can't help you when you get on that stage with me. I'm just gonna be real. That little piece of paper you look over here can't help you when that audience out there and they want some excitement and you gotta hold down the groove for Parliament or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm being real. I just gotta put it out there. I'm 54 years old. There's no need to hold it back. I got confidence in what God has done for me and gave me. So I can tell all the fellas who, you take these jobs, you better know what you're doing with these when you run up on Craig Redmond Sr. Because I act like I don't know what I'm doing. I learned the art of acting like I don't know what I'm doing, but when it come down to it, I can make sure a kid get the job done, and I make sure I get the job done for him to get them to the next level. Because I always ask kids before we start, do you want to be the best? Because right now, being the best ain't just no lip service. You got to put your time, man. That's never going to change, and that's something that's missing right now. I mean, I had kids the last couple of years ago. It's too much work. I
Mhm.
mean, we just got finished being on Channel 12 a couple of years ago. If you pull it up, I had Eastside Drumline. Kennedy was there too, but they didn't put them on TV, for some odd reason. I told myself I don't know, but I was blessed enough to be here. But they put Eastside up there, and we were on Channel 12 when they was doing something for the board. Right after that, kids said, I was like, oh, yeah, we can go now. We don't got TV. We can push. We can redo parades. I started losing kids because they simply said, it's too much work, Mr. Redmond. That's too much work. Oh, wow. I was like, wow. You can't do nothing with that. You push them. You can talk till you turn blue, but they got to want to be a part of something to be the best. And I always ask them, do you want to be the best? Because if you tell me yes, let's go. I'm gonna get the best out of you because you're gonna give me the best, and I'm gonna get it out of you. And I don't believe in cutting corners. 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Put them together, what you got. You know, and I always use different things, a piece of pie, you know, the numbers I work with. If my students look at this, they're gonna laugh. They'll tell you the two numbers I work with the most is 4 and 8. And I always ask them. And parents always assume that their kids just know, oh, my kid know. You get them in a group, you'll find out who's who. And it's don't make it bad. That means that I'm helping them with their social skills. You know, you ask a kid why, they'll give you everything else. And I just have to say, no, it's because it's even numbers. And when we even, you know, it comes out better when we marching, we walking, or whatever we're doing. I'm excited about getting back after this pandemic, getting back out, working with the kids. But I thank God for everything that He has done up to this point in time. Again, my life changed at the age of 47. Um, at the age of 47, like I said, I made it past the 30s and my 40s. When I got to 47, my life changed. Again, the book came about because of when I was 7 years ago. I got attacked. I was out on a tour, you know, gigging, and it was the Saturday before the Super Bowl. Was at the Meadowlands, and my life changed. I went out to the parking lot after I set up, and you know, I got attacked. I lost my left eye from the attack. I got attacked with a baseball bat, broke all this. Because of God's grace and mercy, I can be here today talking about everything I'm talking about. I guess the enemy thought he had me down and out. And actually, when I touched it, it's still sore. I had several surgeries. It was so bad until when they put me in an ambulance that particular night. They had to put me back. They put me in the ambulance, took me to the emergency room. The first emergency room they took me to, they had to put me back in the ambulance and take me back out because the hospital wasn't a tier one trauma. It was a tier one trauma, and they said they wasn't prepared for it. Like if it would have happened in Patterson, St. Joe's is not a tier one trauma center. Newark, Rutgers, Newark is a tier one trauma center. So you know, my life changed. It changed my children's life, my family. But that prayer that was prayed in that line, I'm still here. You know, from that, those prayers and my parents bringing me up and being a believer, I'm here. I'm back, able to do some of the things came back, using the gifts that God has given me. That's why I'm not intimidated, Mr. Gordon. I'm going to say this. When you look at it, I'm not intimidated by any man or woman who has a piece of paper and can do this and that, because I say it again. We just, I don't want to mess up your show, but we just had a president for 4 years that showed them that that piece of paper don't mean nothing after a while. And it had to happen. You know, he didn't have this, that, and the other. And you can say money or whatever, but God was just setting an example for people in the world. You know, he could have, and I'm not going to sit here and say everything he did was bad. If people worse than that, he did some bad stuff, but who don't do bad stuff in their life? Because it's not about what people see now. I thank God for his mercy and grace for what he didn't expose in my life. And I thank him for that. You know, so I use all these platforms. You know, I can't get away from that because I didn't have to be here doing it, touching kids' life, talking to you, doing the things I'm doing. You know, I never thought after all this was done that I would get endorsed. I'm gonna give a big shout out to Soul Tone Symbols for endorsing me. It's working out well. Um, Big shout out to my company and my team, CG Entertainment. I never thought I had music on the charts. The things, if I would have gave up, and my life would have been over, I wouldn't experience some of the great things I'm experiencing now. And it's gonna get better, you know, regardless. You know, some people don't like my style because I'm not a yes man to people. You know, I'm really listening to the voice of God. I don't like the hanging crowds all over the place with people. I'm not about clicks, but I'm about his work when staying in my lane, put it that way. You know, staying in my lane, doing what I gotta do, to touch people's lives. And he promised me that I'll be doing it, and I'm just walking in his mercy and grace. And it it rubs people wrong, you know, I guess, you know, because You know, some people just like a yes person. I'm far away from that. I'm far away from it. But believe me, I could be somewhere and pick up something, and if it ain't right, in my spirit, right, it ain't happening. And people don't realize that when they call me for bookings and they look at this and listen, people know they be wrong, you know, and some people call you to try to disturb your life, knowing they're wrong. And I always get this when people call to book me, because I always tell people you rather deal with me than to deal with management that I do have around me, because I work with you, but I'm sending warning. It ain't gonna be that easy as a future going along, guys. So you're gonna be dealing with me, and you can get mad and you can say whatever you want, but I'm fair. You know what I mean? I'll give people 100% of the gift that God has given me. When it comes out of school, work, whatever. I know somebody may look at this now and talk about now. Right now, this after this pandemic, I'm being honest. When you met me, I didn't have the things that I have now, Mr. Gordon. I have high blood pressure that I'm working on. I try to eat right, try to work out, do all the things. Genetically, my mother, father had it. I still have to fight it every day. I have diabetes type 2. I take insulin every night. On Mondays, I take 2 needles. People don't really understand that. And after my professional doctor, told me how this COVID would attack you if I don't, get vaccinated and be careful, right now. And I'm just not, I want to live, and I want to do things right. I got more work to do. And just right now, I mean, I know you're looking at it, and I'm just not trying to put myself in harm's way right now. And if people look at my media page, when I take a shot at the gym, you never see nobody around me. I don't work out around nobody, even though things are getting better. When you see me playing at church and doing a gig, we are a distance away from each other. So I'm still being safe, and I just don't believe that I want to be in the building right now, with other folks that you don't know. They got vaccinated or with it, that's just me right now, Mr. Gordon. You know what I mean? And I'm being cautious of my life.
Yeah.
You know,
So I'm going to jump in a couple of things that you mentioned. First of all, I just want to say thank you for being on the show, and to thank you for your transparency. You shared a lot of things that for the audience that doesn't know you, now they do. But some things that I've been listening closely. First of all, you are a person and a man of faith, and you put God first, and that's the first thing that came out. Second, also, there is humility and humbleness that is expressed by you, and also I heard the importance of family and family values, and being that protector and provider for the family. I also heard that you are a life learner and always going to advance yourself, advance your skills so that you continuously grow. But at the same time, you challenge yourself. You also challenge others. And yes, some people can take it the wrong way, but it's just that energy about excellence and doing better for yourself as well as others. And that's what you also expect for the children that you support. You don't only, your role in education is not only just as a band director and supporting children that way, but you're also was hired in the district as a paraprofessional working with students. So I can just understand and get the sense of that high level expectation that you have demonstrated and provided for students in the classroom, and also in the band room as well. And I hear, especially for the students that you service and provide support for, and through your story. and I hear why you do what you do, why it's important to do what you do. And I just appreciate you sharing your story with me as well as the audience this afternoon. So tell us a little bit more about the band and also about the two upcoming events that you have, one this weekend as well as one on Juneteenth.
Yeah, well, let's go back to this weekend, which will be the 13th, June the 13th, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have been playing for the since the whole pandemic been on. I haven't missed not one Sunday. I play in the orchestra at Faith Chapel Reformed Church.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my brother's the pastor, and I got permission to be off. So I'm gonna have to miss morning service because this affair starts at 9, but the band is performing from 11 to 1. And it's gonna I gotta change glasses because it's one eye. It'll be at it's in Wayne. It's gonna be at the let's see. This is my schedule here. And yeah, it's in Wayne. I've seen the name of the park. Well, they'll see the flyer out. Look at my Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
and it's at a park in Wayne. They having it's a good day. Today to I went there to look at the site, see where we have to perform. They told me they're gonna have vendors there, different people doing different things. But I'm excited to be performing there with the trio.
Okay.
Me and a couple of guys. It just don't require for us to bring the whole full band, but we can make it happen with what we have because we are not little kids. We are experienced musicians. I got to say that much.
Very good.
Shout
And
out! I want to shout out. I want to
what's going
shout
on
out
with
you
the
guys too.
Juneteenth Freedom Day event?
Oh, now that right there, as as what is his name? The Rock would say, I have to bring some thunder to that. That's a whole lot different than Juneteenth. Actually, we know that's a personal good day for our people, of freedom, and different things that Independence Day for us, Afro Americans, and the list goes on and on. But I am a, I am excited about being a part of it. Again, I have to apologize because, as people know, I'm a part of two or three important bands that I'm in, and one of them is Total Eclipse. Um, they're going to be scheduled to be up at Overpeck Park, um, and I had to get a sub to do that gig for me. Something I never do, but I worked too hard to build up Sea Dreams and everything, and so I took Passaic County, where I come from, and I miss performing a whole year. I miss performing for our people, and we'll be there from 2 to 4. Now I'm going to tell you what's going to be unique about this. I'm being obedient. I'm going to be doing an inspiration gospel concert. I'm going to be doing an inspiration. I'm going to do one of my songs that is ringing bells now, Marching In. If you go to Reverb Nation, it's on the charts. It's doing well. Um, Marching In. But we're going to be doing an inspiration concert. I'm just going to tell you, you know my family. That's all I'm gonna say. We
Mhm.
will be there, and on the instruments and all from 2 to 4. The Garrett Mountain Boathouse. That's where it's going to be at. It starts at 9, and I want to shout out T.J. Best. I want to shout out Kelly, Passaic County Art Fair. I want to shout them out. Thank them. Even this is from the Passaic County for Sunday. But it's just in Wayne. I want to shout them out. TJ Best for sticking it out, and it's going to go on August 15th, County Fair, 8 to 11. Looking to throw the phenomenal show. Whole band. This is not a trio. This is horn section, rhythm section, percussion section, vocals. And people think I'm just a percussionist, but I'm actually a vocal major. So I sing, just as well. Um, Again, I'm gonna shout out my band, my team. Shout out my band, Sea Dreams, for the excellent work we did this past summer. You got to check out the new project. You see it. You got to go up there, www.cclearproductions.org. Pick up Get to Know Me accommodations. Go to Reverb Nation. Pick it up. We got a new video coming out called Get to Know Me. And you'll see Ray John York. Give it up for my keyboard player. Tony Mahone on bass. Craig Mitchell. Melvin Smith. Orby Macklin. Keith Macklin. Craig Mitchell, I think I said him already. Tanya, I want to give a big shout out to Tanya, my vocalist, my nephew, Jason, sung on the project, Jason Redmond. And I want to give my family where it all started. My brother Henry and Daryl, my brother Art. People don't realize my brother Arthur, who don't sing with us now, was the first one to bring in jazz albums and different things to me when I was younger. He was the first one to bring me to concerts. That's why I love them, man. You know, music, they encourage me, you know, to do this. Like I said, before I can even book this Sunday, I have so much respect for my brothers. I didn't just book it. You know, I talked to him. I had to ask my brother, pastor, you know, let him know what I was doing, because I was brought up with that type of respect when it comes down to when you're doing something. You know, being faithful is important. You know, dedicated. You know, especially after God has done so much for me. You know, and yeah, especially after what He's done for me. I mean, I wouldn't be playing if He said no. I need you. I would have to call him back and go. I can't do it. You know, but I thank Him for allowing. You know, saying that no. You know, go ahead on. You know, work too hard to do what you're doing, and I'm going to give let you folks know that are faith believers. I'm still going to give my tithes and offering, even though I'm not going to be there. I want to get my tithes and offering this week. So, you know, God is amazing. It's a personal thing, but He is amazing. I can't help for going back to it. I'm only here, Mr. Gordon, because of Him. I'm only here because of Him. I mean, nothing good of my own, but while I'm here, I want to give Him my best, you know, and do my best. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm the greatest drummer and the artist in the world, but I'm good at who God made me to be. If He makes me look like a superstar to you and act like one and be one, I'll be that. Okay, I don't bother nobody. I just do, you know, stay in my lane, do what I do, put the music out there, keep moving. You know, I have my own equipment God bless me with. You know, just my own music. You know, pay for rehearsal, studio time, whatever I got to do. I struggle like everybody else, but in the midst of it, I give God thanks and praise that He has allowed me to do it, and that makes things better.
Very good. I just want to say thank you, Craig Redmond, for being on the show. And I'm just going to tell everyone again to follow Craig Redmond Sr. and CE Dreams and all the work that they're doing. www.cclearproductions.org. Again, www.cclearproductions.org. And on the website, you can see about the upcoming events that the band, as well as Mr. Redmond, are performing at. The Family Agricultural Day that's coming up this weekend. And then the following weekend, they have the Juneteenth Freedom Day. And once again, Craig Redmond, Sr., I would like to say thank you for being a part of the show and this broadcast. And I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to hear this amazing story and transparency, the humbleness of Craig Redmond Sr. And join us next week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we bring on another educator who is making a significant impact in their lives for themselves, for others, and with others in education. And I would like to say, have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you again, Craig Redmond Sr., and everyone just enjoy your evening. Have a very good night, everyone.
Right.
Bye.
See dreams. Don't forget. Get to know me. Pick it up. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere. Go to my webpage. Pick it up. Don't forget the book coming out entitled Everything Bad Don't Happen in the Hood, written by myself and Jay Sean Jackson.
All right.